Peace and grace, peace and grace. This is Otito producer, also known as Koluka Solo by Otito. Coming at you again with another session. This is the revolution of your mind. Now, when I say the revolution of your mind, I need you to understand what I'm talking about. You see, I'm not trying to start no trouble. No, it's not my claim to fame. What I am trying to do is to get your mind to overthrow the false things that we have learned. We have learned a lot of false things, even concerning the scriptures. So we're going to deal with that. Today's topic is the harmony of the beginning. The harmony of the beginning. Now, the Messiah, who is called the Son, has promised eternal life to all who wish, if they first conduct themselves in their life according to the will of the one who sent him, that is, the Creator, the Father. His message is this: therefore, redirect your manners from evil things to the good things, and from temporal things to eternal things, right? And know the one Creator who is in heaven, whose world you iniquously inhabit before his righteous sight. But if you change and conduct your life according to his will, you will be transferred to the other world and will become eternal and will enjoy his unspeakable good things. Okay? Enjoy his unspeakable good things. Now, we have an issue because many of the things that we have learned have been incorrect. We picked up some bad habits along the way. And so it is with great difficulty to break these habits, things that we've learned. So my attempt is what I'm going to attempt is to take you back to the beginning. Okay? Because there's so many things that have been misunderstood about the scriptures. Okay? And one thing about the scriptures, we have to read the scriptures in a particular way. Okay? So where it says that God loves murders, bloodshed, all of those type of things, we have it that that's false information. I mean, if that's the case, who's the one that's gentle and that is kind, is merciful, always saving, right? One thing about the scriptures, uh, whatever your heart, whatever is in your heart, you can truly find it in the scriptures, whether it be good, whether it be bad. You can find whatever is in your heart in the scriptures, and many people do. Right? Let's read this Matthew 12 and 25, 35. I'm sorry. Oh, first let me offer a quick apology because I know some people think that I've abandoned my channel. I have not abandoned my channel. I've been dealing with a great set of circumstances. I think it comes a time in life when every man who chooses this way may be faced with some great challenges. And in my case, yeah, I've come across those challenges. You know, things unexpected. But I was taught by some ancient teachers. When you choose this way, you have to be prepared for anything. And so while there's been, in the course of 2 years, great attempts on my life, reasons I cannot even offer because I don't know. I can only suggest that it comes from doing this. So when I used to do this weekly, I had to suddenly stop. And I have not been able to forthrightly sit down and do my work. But such is the case of tribulations, you know. So the thing is about um, enduring. And that's just the way it is. Okay. But back to this subject, because I mean, I'm going to be popping in and out. I can't say that I'm going to be here regularly all the time, but we'll be popping in and out because I still want to finish my series on the land and the people and some other things. Yeah, I think that the people would like to know. Right. Uh, Again, this is all about the revolution of your mind. You know what I'm saying? Throwing out the false things that you have learned, overthrowing the false things in your mind that you have learned. All right. Matthew 12 and 35, it says, a good man out of the good treasures of the heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasures bringeth forth evil things. But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. So, we got to be careful of the things that we're sharing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can find whatever your heart wishes in the scriptures, whether it be good or whether it be evil. And that's why you have some men declare, that's how you have people declare that through God, they're able to conduct wars and to kill people and stuff like that in the name of God, which is not true because the Most High have never given man permission to kill, right? Giving man permission to sin, and killing is a sin. Okay? So from the very beginning, there was harmony in the creation. This is the thing that many prophets and teachers of the ancient time have tried to bring man back to its original state that was in the garden. But with so many false things being taught, it is difficult getting the message through. Some people kind of like these things that they've been taught, and so yeah, with great difficulty, it is to break away from terrible things that we have learned. I'm going to read this piece right here from the Chronicles of Jeremiah. Okay. I think this is from the Chronicles of Jeremiah. It's either that or the book of Enoch. Oh, God, I got to check my sources. Anyway, it says, Adam had a life on earth, and I made a garden in Eden in the east, and I ordained that he should observe the law and keep the instructions, right? I made for him the heavens open that he should perceive the angels singing the song of triumph. And there was light without any darkness continually in paradise. So the point that I wanted to bring out about this is that from the very beginning, Adam was given laws. It always seems like the assumption that Adam was not given any laws. These laws he passed on to his righteous sons. Okay, the sons of Seth, and so on, all the way down to Noah. Right? We all know one of the laws was what he should eat as food. And you see that in Genesis 1:29. Okay. So, but the point is, laws have been since the beginning, since the time of Adam. Some people try to say that, we were created from, I don't know, earth itself or without any creator, but I try to explain, everything we know we're taught. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't just automatically, when we come into the world as babies, you're neither good nor bad, but you become what you learn. So it's all about what you've been taught. And if you've been taught the wrong things, well, like I said, it becomes very difficult to break away from that you have learned since you was a child. But we have learned some bad things. Okay. I'm gonna start here and let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verses 12 through 16. And it reads in this way: Seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. For God made not death, neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living. We're talking about the harmony of the beginning. Okay? We understand that, this subject that Solomon was talking about here, was talking about people talking stuff and just talking stuff about people, just, murmuring and saying a lot of bad things or whatever. And then he goes down and, tell people to not seek death. But I wanted to bring this out because he made a point here. Okay. And the point made here is that God did not invent death. Okay, so all in places where it talks about how God killed the first animal and then clothed Adam in the cloth of dead animal skins. I mean, these are just, well, as you can see, it contradicts what is right here in Wisdom of Solomon. So one of them has to be incorrect. One of them has to be false. They both can't be right. And when you look into it, you will see that there are some things that are false in the scriptures. Okay? So when we talk about God, when we look at the nature and the character of God, we look at his goodness, his mercy, his kindness. Okay? And some people say, no, but he's a judge. Yes, he is. I agree with that. But his judgment is reserved to the end. So right now, he let things be in the order that he has set, but his judgment is reserved to the end. There are some things that still happen where a person can get it if they do certain things. There are some things that's in place, but it's not the one. It's not the Most High. It's not the Creator that's doing the destruction. Okay, let's read this again. Seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourself destruction with the works of your hands. For God made not death, neither has he pleasure in the destruction of the living. So, he never made death. He don't enjoy killing murders. That, you know what I'm saying, that corroborates what I said earlier, that God is false when it says that God loves murder and bloodshed, sacrifices and all of that. We can see he says right here, he has not pleasure in the destruction of the living. So the whole idea of killing animals and that God loved that is false. It goes against the harmony that was in the beginning. Okay. Wisdom Solomon 1:14, for he created all things that they may have their being, and the generations of the world were healthful. There is no poison or destruction in them, nor the kingdom of death upon the earth. For righteousness is immortal, but ungodly men with their works and words called it to them. For when they thought to have it their friend, they consumed to nothing and made a covenant with it, because they are worthy to take part with it. Right? And that's death. You know what I'm saying? The killings and stuff like that. That, Most High ain't got nothing to do with that. That is not his thing. It goes against the principles of the harmony in the beginning. Okay? It's the place that the Most High would like to get us back to. Even not, we can't go back to the Garden of Eden physically right now. We can go there in our way of living. Right? But we have to, in order to get there, we must understand some things. And then one of the things we need to understand, that everything was created with a purpose. Right? All the prophets knew that the creation, everything that was created in the creation had a purpose. You know what I'm saying? The sun for its warmth, fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, for food, for the taste. And even the animals were given to man so we can rule over them, right? Because what? We were made in the image, in the likeness of the Most High. And what is he? He's a ruler. He's a king. He rules over people. And if we're made in his image and likeness, we got to be able to rule over something, right? So he gave us the animals to rule over them, not to kill them and to eat them. But let's look at that, because Esdras talked about that. You know what I'm saying? He talked about the purpose of the things that were created in the beginning. So let's go to 2nd Esdras 6:38. It reads like this. And I said, O Lord, thou speakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and saidst thus, let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side, and the sound of man's voice was not yet formed. Then thou commandest thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. And see, I like what Esdras is doing here. He's showing as everything is created, he's showing its purpose, right? And like it says in verse 6 and 40, thou commandest thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. Okay. And upon the second day thou madest the spirit of the firmament and commanded it to part asunder, and to make a division betwixt the waters, that the one part might go up and the other remain beneath. Right? So even the waters had a purpose. That one may go up and one may go beneath. Okay. And on the third day thou didst command that the waters should be gathered in the seventh part of the earth. 6 parts hast thou dried up and kept them to the intent that of these some being planted of God until might serve thee. Right? So he's saying, like, even the earth that dried up from the waters, you know what I'm saying? It had this purpose, so it can get tilled. Okay. For as soon as that word went forth, the work was made. For immediately there was great and innumerable fruit, and many and diverse pleasures for the taste, and flowers of unchangeable colors, and odors of wonderful smell. And this was done the third day. Right? So even years after the creation, okay, the prophet Ezra, he's reiterating the purpose of everything that was created in the creation. That would be quite strange for the prophets to understand this, but then use these things that was created opposite or against the nature of his creation. It don't seem like it would work like that. Not for the prophets who were chosen by God. You know what I'm saying? To be messengers of truth. So I think they was living with, within the confines of the purposes of the things that was created, and not using them in a wrong way. Okay. So we see here that, fruit and things that grew from the earth, that was made for the pleasures of the taste. All right. And upon the fourth day, thou commandest the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be in order, and gave it them a charge to do service unto man that was to be made. Right. So we see the sun, its purpose to give light. You know what I'm saying? In the greater light in the day, the sun, the lesser light, the moon. Of course, also the moon stirs up the water so it doesn't get stale. And the moon gives warmth. You know what I'm saying? Unless we be froze to death down here. Right? So this is the service that these created things do for man. And upon the fifth day, thou didst. Upon the fifth day, thou said unto the seventh part where the waters were gathered, that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes. So it came to pass. For the dumb water without life brought forth living things at the commandment of God. Watch this, that all people might praise thy wondrous works. Okay? So the fishes and the fowls, they were created for somewhat like you could say our entertainment. When we see them and we can praise God, they look beautiful, many different colored birds and colored fishes and things like that. And we, give thanks to God, of his creation, his mighty works. Everything has its purpose. Okay. Continuing on. Now, okay. Verse 49 in 2nd Ezra 6 said, Thou didst then didst thou ordain two living creatures, the one thou callest Enoch and the other Leviathan, and didst separate the one from the other for the seventh part, namely where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both. To Enoch thou gavest one part, which was dried up the third day, that he should dwell in the same part wherein are 1,000 hills. But unto Leviathan thou gavest the seventh part, namely the most moist, and hast kept him to be devoured, of whom thou wilt and when. One day I'm going to do something on the Leviathan and the Enoch. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do something on that one day. Right? But in continuing, it says, And upon the sixth day thou gavest commandment upon the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And watch this. After these, Adam also, whom thou madest, Lord of thy creatures. Of him we all, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So Adam was made Lord of the creatures, the beasts, the cattle, and the creeping things. Like I said, we was made in the image of God. And so we were made it also in his likeness, in his image and likeness. That's what Genesis 1 says. We was made in his image and likeness. Now, if we're going to be like the Most High, we got to be in charge of something, right? So we were made rulers of the animals. Okay. So that's the purpose of the animals being created. Like I said, they help us, entertain us, and that we can rule over them. Purpose. Everything have their purpose. When we living in the harmony of the beginning, you know what I'm saying? We begin to heal. And we begin to live in the will of the Most High and not do our own thing. Right? As I said in my introduction, you know what I'm saying, that if we change our manner of living and living according to the will of the one who created us, you know what I'm saying, we can inherit good things in the other world, right? All right. Also, part of the creation, was the woman. She was part of the creation and everything, right? So even with that whole subject, like I said, we supposed to be in harmony with the creation. Anything that goes against the harmony of the beginning, we just void it out. That's what we've been taught, you know what I'm saying, by the true teachers, by the true prophet, Messiah. These are the things that he taught. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't line up with the harmony of the beginning, yeah, we gotta, you know what I'm saying, get rid of it. And that's the thing. It's a lot of things that's, that test us. And that's what a lot of the false things, that's the purpose of a lot of the false things, is to test us, to see if we will do what we was told to do from the very beginning. Right? So the subject of the situation with women, because there's a lot of divorcing, remarrying, and all these kind of things happening, and even in modern times, and so this has been a problem. And there was laws. Men passed their own laws dealing with these kind of situations, right? So, but let's see what the Messiah said about that. Let's go to Matthew 19, 3-9. Okay. It says, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them
This
male
next one is
and
called I
female?
Lied to You. Is Jamie Lawson in the
And
building?
said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore there are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. Okay. And they said unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. Right? Yo, when I read, I ain't gonna even lie, this one right here stung me because, being a single male and junk like that, and just doing my own thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, dealing with a concept of just, I don't know, when I was not living according to the scriptures, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, person always wanted to settle down and all that, but modern times seem like it make it very difficult for this. So it was a heightened awareness of trust, distrust, and things of that nature, because you see so many things happening, even before you were able to make decisions like that, you learn about them. And so you automatically become distrustful. Well, that was my case. You know what I'm saying? So that leads to a lot of promiscuous, you know what I'm saying? At least it did in my case. But this is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? As the Messiah stated, in the beginning, he created them male and female. You know what I'm saying? And those two become one. They become one flesh. So anything that goes against that is opposing the true way. You know what I'm saying? Anything that goes against the harmony of the beginning, where it's just a man and a woman, it goes against the harmony of the creation. Now, one thing also too, I just well, I ain't gonna say I just learned, but I learned from, during my time of study, is that when the Most High created Eve, he created Eve as a wife. He wasn't just creating another human being. He was creating a wife for Adam. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just he wanted to create it. He was just creating another opposite sex. No, he was creating literally a wife and a mother. Okay, and that's the purpose of women, to be wives and mothers. You know what I'm saying? Not to be independent, to do their own thing. That's just going against nature. Was natural, right? So let's look at this definition of woman in the Strong's Concordance, right? So woman in the Strong's Concordance is H802. I circled it. Hopefully you can see it. And you look at the definition, it says the first form is feminine of these other two numbers. Those are root definitions. It says the second form is in the regular plural, a woman, used in the same wide sense. Each, every female, many, none, one, together, wife, woman. All right. So the word woman in the Hebrew literally means wife. And like I said, when the Most High created Eve, he was creating a wife. He wasn't just creating the opposite sex. He was creating someone to be with Adam. That was the purpose. When we understand the beginning from the concept of harmony, You know what I'm saying? And knowing that this is the will of the Most High for us to live in this harmony. I mean, I think greater effort should be put to try to get back to that harmony, the harmonious state. You know what I'm saying? And it's only possible with the knowledge of truth. You know what I'm saying? Things like this, hearing the true teachings of the Messiah. These are not my own teachings. You know what I mean? I wasn't that bright. Obviously, with all the terrible mistakes I made, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't that bright. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I understand it. I do have the capability to understand what's being presented to me, right? And so, you know, I accepted this knowledge being presented to me, and so I'm presenting it to you as well, and sharing it with you, because, like I said, we're all supposed to live in this harmonious state, right? So that's all I got to bring to you today. Summary: people understand the scriptures according to what's in their own heart. Good or evil, you would surely find it. But you must know there is a particular way that was taught by the late apostles that they learned from the Most High. There's a particular way to read the scriptures. And if you don't know that way, which I explained briefly earlier, you know what I'm saying, then you would pick up the bad things in the scriptures and you will not find your way. That's why it was important for the Messiah to come, you know what I'm saying, and show us the true ways. Because these things, some of the things that were written were not true. And they had people doing things that were incorrect or against the law. So we needed the Messiah to come down and teach us the true ways. Now, some people will argue because they have not come to this conclusion or they have not found this information yet. And they will say, oh, no, it's in the book. Well, you know, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to keep presenting it. And if it's within you to receive the truth, you will receive it. It's not for me to say who will be able to receive the truth. You know what I'm saying? The law is to draw you back to the garden, the true laws. I'm talking about true laws. I'm not talking about false laws. There are some false things in the scriptures, okay? But it's to draw you back to the garden, not the literal garden, but the perfect harmony, you know what I'm saying, in your own life, you know what I'm saying, which was at the beginning. Eve, when she was created as a wife. She wasn't just created as another human being to do her own thing. She had her creation had its own purpose. Okay. So no death, no killing, no fornication, no divorces. None of these things were in the beginning where there was perfect harmony. All understood that the world would be a lot more peaceful. Even your own world would be a lot more peaceful. It's not saying that you won't be subject to tribulation or some haters, because I tell you for sure something just come out the clear blue. You know what I'm saying? Because people hate for no reason at all nowadays. But you do your part, so you have the peace within your mind that you're doing the right things according to the will of the Father, the Creator, whom we all got to answer to one day. Okay? So that's all I got for you right now. Like I said, this is the revolution of your mind. Overthrow the false things that you've been taught. I'm Koluka Solo. Wow, Otito. Saying peace and grace. Maybe I'll catch you on the next one. Be well.